Hello, hello, and you are back on the scene at the Sacred Partnership Summit, and I am here with Marcy Neumann, Reverend RN, energy specialist, intuitive counselor and coach, spiritualist, minister, certified hypnotherapist, and also published author, creator of award-winning manifestation products. And we want to talk to you today about sacred partnership, things like polarity, passion, power, and how does self-love play into those things? How do you create a sacred partnership? What are the ingredients? What are the things that you need? And where does self-love come into that? Do you have to have self-love to do this? Do you have to be perfect? What does it mean to love yourself? So these are some of the topics that we're going to discuss today. And first, I would like to start us off with a big hello to our guest, Marcy. Hi, Marcy.
Hello,
thank you so
Emilia.
much for being here.
So thrilled to be here again. And thank you for including me in this wonderful project of yours. This is a time, I believe, where we are really being called to come back into our hearts and to live purposefully in partnership. And
Yes.
Of course, all of the wonderful and beautiful paths that will open because of that. So thank you.
Yes, my pleasure. And thank you so much for being here. And absolutely, I mean, what a crazy last 2 years we've all had. And I think if anything, we can speak to the importance of the strength of our partnerships, our relationships, our home. What are they? Home, not the home bodies, but our domestic unions, right? Our divine domestic unions, as I like to call them. And so I wanted to ask you some questions because you have been doing this a long time. I mean, your experience in healing and spirituality, you're a nurse. I mean, that's amazing, right? All these things. So you've been doing this a long time. You have a lot of experience. So I want to ask you, first of all, when it comes to a woman and a man, let's say a feminine person and a masculine person, because we don't necessarily have to talk about women and men, but I do want to say that we're talking about feminine and masculine and how those work together energetically, regardless of the bodies involved here. Okay. So when we're talking about the feminine and the masculine coming together to create a partnership, Marcy, could you give me your thoughts on polarity? What is polarity? Do we need polarity? How does polarity play into the equation?
So first off, I just wanted to note, you brought up that I've been doing this a long time. I've been in this work for over 50 years. And since that time, of course, not only our definition of things, but our experiences in this realm, this esoteric and metaphysical realm, has shifted as our vibrational frequency or our consciousness has shifted.
Yes.
So the way you and I are talking about this today is not necessarily how we would have spoken of it last year or the year before. So what I see as the purpose of polarity being is actually to provide for us invitations, reminders. It is contrasting energy that is actually meant to remind us, and because we're talking about partnerships today, it's to remind us that we naturally have both feminine and masculine energies within us. We are a reflection of, the father-mother aspect of everything that we experience. And so what polarity does is it provides for us, again, that invitation, reminding us to come back into balance when possible, but also to remember that at some point, either the masculine or feminine may take precedence, but it doesn't mean that that's what defines us. What defines us is that we are in the natural flow of the God consciousness, the consciousness of creation and love, when we are working with both energies, when we recognize their presence and their power.
Yes, yes. And it's so important that we don't forget that creating our desires, our dreams, being a powerful manifester in life, in our life, we do have to apply both masculine and feminine energy. And so how do you see those energies playing out in an intimate relationship between a feminine person and a masculine person? Or do you see that there are feminine and masculine people from your point of view and experience?
Well, there's certainly, excuse me, certainly are masculine and feminine orientations, right?
Mm-hmm.
However, again, I have to emphasize the importance of us recognizing why it is essential for us to get in touch with those energies.
Mm-hmm.
The energy of both masculine and feminine within us, because it's really how we are truly empowered. And you use the word manifest. We can't manifest without them. All right. And here's why. The masculine energy is the energy of giving, right? So if we look at the male historically, they're the hunters, they go out, they're providers, and they bring back whatever they have hunted and have come to deliver, how to take care of their families or their tribes. Women are the great receivers of the universe. And the reason that we are the great receivers is that we very naturally live in our hearts. And so we receive everything that has been collected by the male, and we bring it through the heart. And what do? We transform that energy in order to be able to utilize it. And think about how this plays out in the home and relationships, in order to be able to utilize it to bring to life any desires. So if you're not in your male, where you are going out collecting information and you're relying on someone else to do that for you, you are getting information secondhand and only through the male perspective. If you are unable to receive, which many women unfortunately have been programmed in that direction, you're not able to fulfill your part in this sacred union, this sacred partnership. All things in the universe work in partnership. All things in the universe are giving and receiving. And so when we are in partnership, both within ourselves, key, and then in sacred partnerships with others, and we recognize the sacredness of this, we have fluidity. We can stay in the flow of energy. We're not intimidated or competitive, or we're not in this place where we are married to a particular role, you might say, or wearing particular hats that limit our experiences.
Yes. Yes.
This is powerful stuff.
It is. It's powerful stuff. And I'm just getting full body chills right now. It's like the truth bumps,
Yeah,
because I think this work is up. Like this is up in the world for humanity. I think on a collective level, the codes are coming in. We're traveling through a part of universe or collectively in space-time. I don't know how all that works. I'm not an expert in that, but somehow, somewhere, I feel these activations coming in for a sacred union. And I feel like it's our job as leaders in that area, in partnership, in love, in relationships. It's our job to ground that, like to take that and ground it and create a message that is actionable. So speaking of actionable, how can somebody know if they're a feminine person or if they're a masculine person? Is there such a thing? And how would they know? How would they know that?
It's a great question. And again, I have to say, we have both energies within us. But when we step back and we remember that we are here on a sacred mission, we have an assignment. That assignment is for us to experience this world so that we can expand as a soul and enable us as a soul to extend more love consciousness through us. That is the bottom line. That is what we're all doing here. So in this world of a lot of confusion right now, right, about genders and roles and all of this, there will be certain things that will come to each person as an opportunity to look at which energy they need to call forward. This has nothing to do with gender identification. That's the confused part. This has everything to do with how are you utilizing your energy.
Yes.
Okay. So one of the issues that we have as women, and I want to zero in on this for a moment, is that we have acquiesced our power as women. And the reason that this happened is that when we went out of the home and entered into the workforce, we had this crazy notion that we were meant to do that as men do it. So we tried to follow the patriarchal role, the model that was laid out for us. Unfortunately, we're also held to those standards. And so success for us began to be measured according to the masculine standard, when in fact it had nothing to do with how we as women are meant to be successful.
Yes.
We are successful when we are in our heart. A male orientation is goal orientated. We as women are here. We are here to live in that love energy because that is the creative energy.
Yes.
So all of life is actually created through us, not just human beings. All of life is created through us. It comes through our being, through our heart, and we transform or transmute that energy into creation, into manifestation.
Yes.
So a lot of this confusion is that there's actually a revolution taking place, right? And what happens in that is that what will rise is our memory that we are energetic beings. We're not men or women in entirety, although we are gender oriented and there's purpose to that. We have at our fingertips, at our heart tips, you might say, this energy that we must start to both recognize and utilize. This can only come when you come back into your heart and with radical acceptance, accept who you are. You are the great receiver of the universe as women. You are here to transmute energy into manifestation, into creation. And so we must put aside the programming and conditioning and sort of screwed up perspective about how we measure our success and come into true partnership, which is fulfilling our covenant with the God that created us and gave us this sacred mission. This is how we as souls will expand. We expand in truth and truth only. So we don't define ourselves by what's outside of us. We define ourselves by what our spiritual DNA has already determined is our covenant.
Let's just take a breath here, because that is so profound and so needed and so important.
Yeah.
So important. Like I've heard said so many times, we're not human doings, we're human beings. And we're here to have that experience, and the energies of masculine and feminine are a part of what we've come here to play with and experience and create with and manifest with.
That's right.
I love it. So beautiful. And Marcy, what do you think is the key to sustainable long-term passion in a relationship between a man and a woman who want a long-lasting relationship?
Well, first,
or a feminine and a masculine, I should say. Sorry. Yeah.
You first have to get in touch with your passion. What makes your heart sing? The more in touch you are with your passion and you feed yourself through your passion, passion exudes, passion overflows. It can do nothing but feed a partnership, right? But it has to come from within you. Each and every time we look to our partner to fill any void within us, we are acquiescing our power and the memory that we are already whole. We are meant to feed every aspect of us so that we're constantly in overflow, so that everything that is meant to nourish and nurture, to feed that partnership, that relationship, comes naturally. If at any time, and this is so evident in so many relationships and partnerships where people are constantly in these positions, they allow themselves to either accept it or to be put in it. But a place of sacrifice is a place of void. Sacrifice, whatever you do from a place of sacrifice, feeds nothing. Feeds nothing, because the energy is not coming from the vault of love. It's coming from obligation. It's coming from a sense of self-judgment if you don't. You know, in this higher spiritual realm that we're really working towards living in, we must realize that in the consciousness of God that created us, that we are an extension of, there's not one of us that's greater or lesser than the other. And so sacrifice would never be asked of one for another. All things must come from love. And love only knows one thing, and that is to love. So if you're in sacrifice, you're outside of love.
Yes, and you're not in creative flow either.
Well, you can't be, because love is the creative flow.
Yes, yes. And I love the connection you're making here. And I want to kind of drive this home, if we can, one layer deeper. The connection you're making between a person, a woman or a man who is in touch with their own passion, their own sense of why they're alive, what they love about life, what they're creating, what they're doing, what they're being, what their mission is, right? Their own sense of being alive, not just alive as in like living, but like being really alive, right? And I love the connection that you make between that and the passion in a partnership. And it's funny because when I asked you about passion, I was talking about like hot, like sex. I was talking about hot sex, but I'm thinking, well, you can't have hot sex without that.
Emilia, this is the quintessential orgasm, right? It is, because an orgasm is the release of all of that sacred energy out into the universe. Your passion is that. It is your gift to the universe. And so that's your gift to your partnership. That's your obligation. Let's just go there. It's your obligation to be following your heart, to be feeding your passion so that you can be in alignment with the sacred union within you, between
with the
the
sacred
God
flow.
consciousness.
Yes.
Exactly. That's what
Yes.
a real union and partnership needs to strive for.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. Oh my God, so many amazing things. And so it's gonna be hard, you know, to have that sustainable, fulfilling, passionate, long-term partnership if you are disconnected from your own mission and passion and reason for being alive in the first place. And whether it comes to sex, you're not going to have the ability to go there, because that is the creative energy. I just love that we're making that connection, because it is really important, because a lot of people struggle with that sustainable passion.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And, you know, they think that the key is, you know, different positions or trying this out or costumes and all of that. You know what, sweetheart? I mean, that's fun. It's fun, but that's not passion.
That's not
passion. No. That's not passion that sustains you.
It's not
the only
life.
Passion, exactly.
It's
that
just
sustains you is your alignment with the divine within you.
Yes.
And that's what self-love is all about. Self-love is aligning with the divine within you. Everybody thinks, oh, self-love is, you know, taking care of yourself and going for pedicures like I do, you know, doing this, doing that. That is self-care. Self-care, it feels great. It's nurturing. It's nourishing to you. And it opens the path for self-love, but that's not self-love. Self-love takes you out of your comfort zone.
Yes, because you're in your human spirit and you're acting in courage.
Exactly. Self-love always takes you out of your comfort zone, so it's going to be uncomfortable. It's not comforting, but what it does is it brings you back into alignment with your truth, your authentic self, your authentic expression of the God, the divine within you. And that is what self-love is. And you hit the nail on the head. It requires such courage, because it means you also have to step out of the programming and conditioning that you received as children, that we are pressured to maintain. Yes. And I'll guarantee you this, speaking from a lot of experience, yes, you will disappoint people around you, because you'll no longer be trying to live up to their expectations. Instead, you will be living up to that promise that you made to the God consciousness that created you, that you would do your very best to be a pure expression of it on this earth.
So beautiful. Yes. I mean, I could just be here talking to you about this forever. But you know, we do have limited time, and I know we've got lives to go to. So I want to ask you one last question.
Yeah, please.
To end. And the question I want to ask you is about power. And I feel like we've touched on a lot of that with what we've just talked about, because it is that connection with divine creation and allowing it to flow through the heart, which is, I think, the source of power, and how you stay in your power in relationships rather than losing your power in relationships, which is what we get modeled, right? But I'd love to hear your thoughts on this piece and how it ties in with the rest of what we talked about, because I think it really does.
Okay. And you're right. I think we've sort of corralled all of this, right? And we've given it some form. Power can only come from one place, and that's your connection to source energy. Think about yourself as this lamp, right? A lamp that is unplugged is nothing more than an object. It has no illumination. The moment you plug that lamp into the source of energy that has the capacity to illuminate it fully, it illuminates everything around it. So our power comes only from plugging into source. All of us have experienced, I know this for myself and the thousands of people that I've worked with all around the world. And that is when we are trying to create something from our own initiatives, we fizzle out. We don't have within us everything that we need to bring it to true fruition. So you might be able to manifest something, but that's not the way creation works. Creation doesn't stop with one object. When you're connected to source, what you have created also creates. And so, in other words, the energy continues to flow. And so what we have to keep in mind at all times, the most essential aspect of your life is to foster, to build, to cherish, and to be committed to your daily connection with source energy. Meaning, if you really want to live a life and to have a partnership filled with that passion, filled with that really deeper, higher love, being in your creative spirit, the source of that is the source of love. And the source of love is the consciousness of God. So your daily spiritual practice is what will give you everything you're asking for.
Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. What a beautiful way to bring it home. Thank you so much, Marcy. I just want to let everybody. Yes. Yes, I just want to let everybody know where they can find you. So below this video, you guys, you can see the link. That is Marcy's gift that she's giving you, which is the Self-Love University. So go to that and you will get a gift that she has for you for listening and being here and participating. And then you can get on her list and stay in touch with her because she sends out emails regularly on the other things that she's doing and that she's speaking into. And thank you so much. Wow, what a blessing and an honor to be in the presence of mastery, Marcy, because in every word is your wisdom, your experience, your depth, your knowledge. And I'm so grateful that you brought it to us today. Thank you.
So welcome. And in every word is the evidence of my connection to source. Yes. And source speaking through me, extending through me. And that is our purpose here, to be an extension of love itself. And I'm certain that every single person tuning into this summit will be blessed with all that the speakers have to share. What you bring here, Emilia, having, really created this beautiful platform, and what a blessing you are and the summit is to everyone everywhere. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Marcy. Thank you. Namaste. Thank you so much.
Namaste.
Yeah.